Over the last 2 years, I made over $1 million with my coaching business. I paid out over $250,000 in payroll. I've developed a caffeine addiction, spent 12 plus hours a day on my screen, and invested $10,000 plus into mentorships along the way. And I want to condense 8,760 hours of experience into a 10-minute video for you to consume. Lesson number one is going to be to remove bloat. So the more mass you have, the slower speed you go at. And the assumption that every team member or automation you have works at 60 to 70% of your ability, a slower speed means you get less done. My company was stuck at $0 a month for the first 30 days of our business. Then we stopped posting on every social media such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and we just focused all in on YouTube. And then we hit our first 20K a month. Then we were stuck at 20K a month for 4 months. We stopped selling 3 different products. We had a low ticket, a mid ticket, and a high ticket, focused all of our beans into the high ticket offer, and we hit 50K a month. Then we were stuck at 50K a month for 3 months. We dropped everything, dropped the company's revenue to zero, even went and restarted our company into a marketing agency, and then 4 months later, we hit 100K a month. Then we're stuck at 100K a month for 6 months. We decreased our team size, complexity, and everything we did in our operations, and we hit 200K the next month. And the reason why I share all this with you is because every single time you have to decomplexify and remove bloat from your business. The architecture of a 250K a month coaching business looks something like this. You have yourself in the middle, who's the red dot. You have one setter and maybe a second if you're running ads and you have a lot of lead flow. If you do content like myself, you don't really need one, but you can also have a content guy to do your edits and thumbnails. Then you're going to have a closer, which optionally also could be you. And finally, you have an assistant to help you with client delivery. And that is all you need to hit 250K a month in almost all profit, which is absolutely insane. And if this guy can do it, so can you. He's worth $14 billion. He has 30 team members and works 4 hours a day. His name is Pavel Durov. He is the founder and CEO of Telegram. And all these guys as well, including myself, you've got Dan Bolden, Iman Ghazi, Grayson Lopez, Charlie Morgan, and Hamza. And the reason they all opt for this model is because it has more cash flow and profit, which means you can grow faster. It's more fulfilling because you actually get to work with people who you enjoy to spend time with, and it funds your long-term investment, which is why guys like Iman put so much money into crypto and other businesses because they have their education companies or coaching businesses cash flowing them. Lesson number two is going to be to take 2 steps back in order to take 10 steps forward. You're stuck in your coaching business right now. You are spinning your wheels and you do not have traction. Once you get traction, you're going to stick and you're going to fly. 3Ds to traction are going to be data, downtime, and decisions. There's a great book on this you can read called Traction. Data. You must have every success metric in your business measured. So from the very top of your funnel where someone comes in from your content, where they see your page, where they see your outreach message, you have to have it tracked where they become a customer and leave your company's actual work. And you need to have every single number that correlates to achieving that tracked every single day in the actual process of running your company. Then you're going to set key performance indicators that align with hitting your revenue goal. So let's say you want to hit 100K a month. You need to reverse engineer how many appointments you need, what your close rate needs to be, how many customers you need to upsell, what your price point needs to be, how long everything needs to happen, and how much of it needs to be done. Then you're going to give yourself some downtime. I want you to take a day, come to reality with everything that you have going on in your business. I want you to look at the hard things that you've been avoiding. I want you to look at your bank account. I want you to look at your revenue. I want you to watch your setters and closers calls. I want you to read and speak with unhappy clients. I want you to feel sad. I want you to feel depressed, and I want you to feel demotivated, and I want you to shake it off so we can move into the final phase, which is making decisions, which then we're going to identify, isolate, and implement. And I'm going to show you exactly how we do this. So we've got all of our KPIs along this timeline here. And let's say, for example, we've got the KPIs of leads. We've got the KPI of appointments. Then we've got the KPI of closing, and then we have the final KPI of upsells. So if we're going to make a decision on which one of these needs to stay and which one needs to go, here is how we actually determine that process. First thing we're going to do is we're going to set our KPI. So let's say we're going to need 50 leads in a day. Let's say we're going to need 4 appointments in a day. Let's say we're going to need to close at 20%. And then let's say we're going to need to upsell 10% of our customers. So if we look at this metric and then we compare where we're currently at using the data that we tracked, let's say we're only bringing in around 20 leads a day. Let's say we're only booking 1 to 0 appointments a day. Let's say we're closing at around 13%. And let's say we're upselling at around 8%. The next step is going to be to isolate the variables that we don't need. So we can obviously here, our upsells are good to go. So we can scratch this out. We do not need to touch that right now. Our closing rate is not too bad. So we're going to move on and see what actually needs to be fixed. Our appointments are really bad and really off metric. We have around 25% of what we're actually gunning for. And then our leads, we're at roughly 50% of lead volume that we actually need. So first things first, we can realize that our closing is not going to be the biggest problem here. It's going to be between leads and appointments. So if we want to get more leads and appointments, we need to go, okay, well, the actual process of getting appointments relies and actually is heavily constituted on having a lot more leads go into our funnel. So the number one thing that we're going to need to focus on in this situation with these numbers is going to be getting more leads. And we're going to work on this 20 number to get it to 50 until we have achieved it. We're not just going to throw out a bunch of tasks we need to do, like start ads and then get a UGC director and all these things. We're going to sit every single day in the trenches on our business until we can actually improve and hit this metric. We're not going to do anything else. We're not going to worry about appointments. We're not going to worry about closing. We're not going to worry about upsells until we have this metric of leads down to this 50 number. And we're going to reevaluate every single week until we do that. If you put all your focus in that one basket, it's going to happen within the next 30 days. And that is the magic of actually tracking, isolating, and executing. Lesson number 3 is going to be that volume is king. You have processes in your business right now that are guaranteed to work. Posting social media content, doing cold outreach, running paid ads are all things that people have made hundreds of millions of dollars doing before you. You're not special and you can replicate their results as well. If you did 100x more of them for the next 10 years, you would be a millionaire, and it would usually happen a lot faster than that. But we allow the short-term battles that we lose to make us demotivated, make us feel like we want to quit, and instead continue fighting in a war that we're guaranteed to win. You go a week without booking appointments. You get a 10 out of 10 video, which means it's really, really bad. And someone says something mean to you on a sales call or on a setting call, and then you quit, which is the only possible way to lose. We quit so many things with our own coaching business. We failed an affiliate program when Andrew Tate went viral on the real world. We failed a low ticket funnel. We failed YouTube ads twice. We failed a Discord funnel. And the only commonality is that we quit on each of those things. The idea is that we kept trying. We also failed. We failed hiring closers. We failed YouTube. We failed high ticket offers. We failed Facebook ads. We failed one-to-one consultancy delivery. And really, failure equals quitting. Failure, then going to the 3Ds and then repeating it, eventually is going to lead to your success. And the reason why I share this is because if you're struggling with things right now, chances are that you're just not learning from your mistakes, and it's not that the things itself actually don't work. And I'll touch on this a little bit more later. Lesson number 4 is that 80% of your time needs to be spent in your flywheel. Well, what is a flywheel? A flywheel is the one core activity that fuels the growth of your entire company. You spend 80% of your time working on your flywheel. It's going to supercharge every single department in your company at the same time. For example, here's my flywheel. I work with coaches, so the core action that I have is talking about growing coaching businesses. What this does is it creates YouTube and community content, like the one you're watching right now. When I do that, it attracts coaches to my free school community where I'm going to actually work with them. Then I partner with coaches, and then I work daily one-to-one with coaches who I actually have under my client belt, and I get them banger results, which leads to me getting more and more community content to create. And everything that I do relies on talking to coaches like I'm doing right now. So the more I do this, the better I get at it. And the better I get at it, the more money I'm going to make. The more time I spend doing my core activity, the more and faster our company grows. And if you've seen this graph, it is Warren Buffett's net worth. Up until the age of around 58, he was only worth $2.3 billion, which is very modest in comparison to the $58 billion that he's worth now, because his activities and his investments kept compounding onto each other. You should remove or incorporate everything that you do in a day towards your flywheel. Talking to clients should mean that you collect video ideas. Free community calls should be podcast-style clips you make. Running team calls should be educating people on how to run a coaching business and collecting video ideas from the questions. Sales and setting calls are already in the flywheel. And if you can condense all these things, you're going to absolutely supercharge your growth, compound, and explode your business. Lesson number 5 is going to be that the best teacher is yourself. And you can learn 100x more looking at what you mess up than looking at others and hearing their stories. The reason we don't do it is because it's painful. We say to ourselves, well, I already know what to do, or it's a waste of our time. I do this all the time myself as well. And we do it because it hurts. You feel awkward, you feel embarrassed, you feel vulnerable, exposed when you actually look at yourself, you watch your own sales calls, you watch your own YouTube videos, and look at what you're doing very carefully. But it is also your number one opportunity for growth. You will forever know what to do because you're already doing what's right, as we spoke about earlier. The key thing is that burning hot pain, that awkwardness that you feel from watching your own YouTube videos is the fuel. It's the fuel that's going to stop you from repeating the activity and the mistakes over and over and over again. And it provides the experience and the fortitude and the conviction that you're not going to repeat the same mistake twice. And if you can do that, it's going to absolutely supercharge your ability to learn and grow. And I hope you received ample value from our deal.